Alright, this should be interesting. So what I'm gonna do is, this is gonna be, all about cutting through contaminated metal, dirt, grime, that stuff. Like, some rods do better than others. If you're out welding something up and it's filthy, or you have rust contamination on the surface, I'm going to find out which rod does best, except I'm taking this to an extreme. We're going to find out which rod will cut through the most stuff, even if it's to unrealistic proportions. So we're going to find out. So you got my Eutectic 27 cast iron welding rod, which said it performs like something like surprisingly well on, surprisingly wasn't the word, on contaminated and oxidized surfaces. 6022, 6010, 6011, and the Forney Super Blast cutting gouging rod. And starting out from best to worst, it's definitely testing it on, and yeah, it's going to get bad. Starting out with surface rust, just a piece I've had sitting in the garage. And to be fair, I did grind a contact point on the bottom of each of these. And the second to worst is this piece of plowshare or something I dug up. The only thing I did to it was take a wire brush to it. So yeah, that's untampered with. I use the grinder on the bottom to get to the contact point. Gotta love rust and some dirt here. And this chunk of metal I also dug up as my metal detector. So I ground the contact on the back, and front's covered with dirt, mud, and chunks of untouched, flaky rust. It'd be amazing if anything cuts through that. I probably won't even leave a weld. But I'm curious. We're gonna put these oh my goodness, it's dusty. Rods to the test. Probably run them in higher amperage, definitely. Turn the fan back on. Whew. Grinding dust, not dust, rust, it's really dusty. Not fun. Oh boy. I have a hanky on my face. It's not ready. No. Alright, we're gonna start them out at 120 amps. See what that does? Now the Forney cutting rods are rated for like 225 amps or something like that, so my welder doesn't go as high as they are potentially recommended. Without my shadow in the way, okay, it looks fairly decent. Can I zoom in a little bit? Yeah, I can. Yeah, if I put it about there, that works. I feel like I'm not going to need all 140 amps for the beginning stuff. I might later. Might switch up some stuff. Can't tell if my chest's hurting from bending over for an hour digging up stuff with dust. It's not good. Alright, let me see what we got. First up, we've got the Eutectic 27. 120 amps, let's see what it does. I'm sure it'll be fine. I'll do a video on these later once I get some more cast iron. This DCEN admittedly, the metal is dirty. Maybe that's why it doesn't want to work. Or let's just try 140 amps and see what it does. That's a long arc bit. Just a tiny bit. Never mind. There's the rod I guess that requires high amperage. First time using it. Man, doesn't look too bad. A little bit squiggly, but it cut through the surface rust. Save that stub, get another look there. Next up, 6022 light surface rust, 140 amps. And whenever I get to the 6010s, it just sounds overkill to the 6010 on 140 amps. And it kind of is. So maybe I'll just tone it down. .22 always goes to that stuff like nothing. Not a very pretty rod. I wonder what the cutting gouging rods will look like at an amperage when they're low in the recommended to cut. Oh boy. There's the 6022. I've got a hiccup there in the middle of the bead. I think that's where my arc cut out. But just doesn't hurt to mess around, I guess. That performed really well. Didn't have any hesitation starting the arc. Puddle stayed very fluid throughout. .6010 I've turned down to 115 amps because I know it can do this. Good. Let me switch up polarities. Back to DCEN. Works better. 6010 works better on DCEN than DCEP. I think I already knew that, but I just didn't apply it. So towards the beginning, B did not start well, but I think if I started it with DCEN towards the back, it would have been just fine. I've done better 6010 beads than that. I just need to actually take time to run some more dime stacks. Well, you know what? I'm just going to finish out the 6010 on the other side for practice. Yeah, 6010 could use a little bit of work. Okay, next on to 6011 on surface rest. At 120 amps, 6011. It's kind of like the go-to farmer's crud cutting rod, I guess. Switch polarities all the time. I'll try that on DCEP down the middle. And of course, DCEP worked fine. Alright, the final one on the surface rest test is... Whoa! I had to shift it. Hang on, I gotta get the slag off this. Yeah, the final one's only the Forney cutting gouging rod. That was DCEN 6011, DCEP 6011. Now for the Forney rod. Never run these rods before. Perhaps someday I'll do a full video on it. Crank this up to 140. to lose track of where I was. Started going all over the place. I can definitely see the cutting action, albeit not as deep as it probably normally would be. I want to see if it works better on, what am I on? I'm going to try DCEN on these. Yeah, this isn't much of a beat line. Whatever, it functions. Looks pretty bad though. Forney cutting, DCEP, and DCEN. I think I'm going to divide this video into 3 segments, so it's like good, bad, and the ugly.